Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today I'm going to cover the second hands-on sessions for Cloud Practitioner and those who are just tapping into the AWS Cloud platform and they want to do certification, right? So I always advise all my colleagues and friends to do hands-on as much as possible because this is the easiest way to crack the exam as well as it will also add some values. Okay, so in my previous video, I was discuss about introduction of AWS Management Console, right? How to access console, how you can check your bill, how you can access, how you can find the different services, right? So today I'm going to show you how to launch server, right? And we also discuss about the detailed portion of different components of server configuration. So let's start it. So guys, you have to just type whatever service you want to access from the AWS platform. So here I would like to add a few keywords so you just see how you can access it. So for example, storage. So you just see the storage related services, right? So let's type EC2, right? So same thing you can also find on a left top corner the services icon. You just click on that, you will find the list of services. EC2 service is belonging from the compute category. You just see over here, this is the all the services. You just see the compute service, right? In which there is a EC2, right? EC2, it means elastic compute cloud, right? So it is the basic computing service, right? So click on that. See, Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud is a web service in the AWS compute category, right? So it will provide secure, resizable, and compute capacity in the cloud, right? So it have like many advantages, but let me explain this different options you just see on this console. So first of all, on the left hand side, you just see these all are the list of different options to configure a server once you launch, right? And on a middle part, you just see the resources. It will show you the dashboard kind of thing where you will find the all the list of active or running servers, all the server which are on a stop condition, placement group, volumes, dedicated host, key pair, security group, all the configuration which you have done for your machine or which you are already have, that will show on this resource section, right? Okay, then after you have option, it's called launch instance, easy to go. I will click on this option once I explain it. So then after you just see the schedule events, right? So schedule event, if you have a schedule any kind of event or compute category based scheduling event, then you will find it over here, right? Then option, it's called service health. So here you will find specific region healthy availability zones, right? So these are the different zones as I told you in a previous video lecture. uh, all the region have at least two availability zones, right? Whether you are from uh, any region, right? So here you can see we are right now in a Northern Virginia, which is from US East, right? And here you can see there are six regions: A, B, C, D, E, and F, right? And all are in a healthy, or you can say in a normally operating, right? Okay, now let's click on a launch instance, right? Okay, you have option. Okay, please remember this. You have to follow these 7 steps to launch your server. One of the first step is AMI, right? It's called Amazon Machine Image, right? So Amazon Machine Image, right? It's include the list of information, right? It's here you can see here you will find the list of categories on right left hand side, right? So the first category, it's called quick start. Okay, let me also explain what is AMI. So AMI, you can say it's a template, right? The template contains software configuration, which kind of configuration, that may be operating system, application server, all the dependencies, right? That's bunched together and it's create one image, right? So for example, if you want to create Windows server or maybe a Linux server, and that's having all the prerequisite install like Apache, that may be having some PHP libraries, right? Or that maybe have some other dependencies or some platforms, right? Some dependencies related to deep learning, image processing, right? That library already, if you want to add it over there, that's already installed, and they created one image for you. So this is provided from AWS, right? So here you will find the list of images, right? Linux image, Mac OS. The Mac is recently launched, right? So till so far we don't have this access, but after uh, last reinvent, right? They just added this EMI, right? So AMI will help you to get experience of without Apple deck hardware. You just experience the Mac OS as well, right? Then we have a Red Hat, SUSE. Almost here, here you will find the list of operating system as well. Just see, these are the list of operating system you will find, right? So almost more than 10 operating system you just observe here. So they will have all the operating system for you, right? Here you can see including the deep learning, right? So deep learning AMI with different configuration, including NVIDIA, CUDA core, right? Docker, right? So many dependencies and varieties you will find. They make it ready for you, right? But for the learning purpose, right, you have to always looking for this tag free tier, right? So let me select the first option. Okay, before my AMI is the option if you want to design your own Amazon machine image where you want to install your prerequisite software, and that after that AMI will be used by your specific people, like you have a company, and in that specific company you require like specific software, right? And you don't want that your all the employee will manually install it, so you can do one thing, install that software in your existing machine and create the AMI, and you can upload that AMI over here. So everybody will launch the machine using this AMI, right? Which is having operating system, all the dependent software applications, and the prerequisite whichever you whatever you want to uh, install, right? So here I'm going to select free tier, right? So select it. Our next option, choose instance type. So AWS provide the variety of instance type where you will select the different type. Based on that you will have a configurations of your machines where you will have a like number of CPUs, RAM, storage, and network performance, then IPv4 support, right? So here you can see T2 micro, right? So there are variety of machine you will find. So that may be memory optimized, graphics optimized, CPU optimized, right? So here you can see I'm selected T2 micro, that is the free tier eligible, which is having one CPU, 1 GB of RAM, EBS support, right? The network performance is low to moderate, right? And IPv6 supported, right? So yes, of course, you just scroll down and you will find the variety of size as well in a specific family, right? So that, as I told you, general purpose, the T2, this T2 category or T category is from general part, compute optimize, having the this all the C category you just see, these all are the compute optimized, C4 large, C4 extra large, then memory optimize is having R, X. So R and X, you just scroll down, you will find R and X category, right? And even you have, yes, that's general category also have a M5 and M4, right? Accelerated category that P3, P2, G4, G3, right? And storage optimize also you have, right? So this all list of option you will find, and you have to select according to your requirement. So based on the family type you choose, your default resources attached with them, right? So here I'm going to select T2 micro, go to the next configuration details. So in a configuration detail, you have to configure certain parameters, right? Where you have to select the type of instance as well, which type of instance, sorry, not type, but specific instance category, right? So there are four instance category you will find. First is on demand. So here, okay, let me start with this one. So first of all, select how many number of instances you want, right? So for example, you want the same kind of configuration having the 5 machines, right? So based on that, you can select that. Okay, so here I'm going to select one only. Then purchasing option, that's what I would like to just focus the main part. There are four type of option you have. First one is on demand. On demand, it means whenever you want, the resources will be there, but their charges are little high, right? So in which case you can select on demand where your utilization requirement is not fixed. For example, you want server right now, but you don't know how many hours or how many days that server will be active. So in that case, the on demand category is the best, and this is good for user that want the low cost and flexibility of EC2 without any upfront payment or long term commitment. Okay, so application with short term, or you can say spiky or unpredictable workload that cannot be interrupted in this category, right? Second is a reserved category. Reserved, it means that resources will be reserved for 1 year, minimum 1 year up to 3 year, right? So application with the steady state, you said that you are just enroll in a one course and that course duration is 1 year. So in that, this is one example. In that case, you can purchase this virtual machine and for 1 year, so it will give you a more discount compared to on demand, and the discount start from 75%, right? So if you will, again, it depends on a type of payment, right? If you pay all the payment in upfront, you will have more discounts. If you will partial payment, you will have a little less discount. And if you have no upfront cost in a reserved category, that's all. In that category also you will have a discount, right? Okay, then next option is a spot. This is the spot option you will find, right? So spot option, it means what? You have the option to request the spot instance and specify the maximum price you are willing to pay per instance hour, right? So this is somewhat like stock market, right? So this category is based when your application have a flexible start and stop time. It will not affected by any interrupt or like unwanted kind of stop, right? In that case, you can choose this, right? And this is having the lowest compute price. Okay, so user with an urgent need for large amount of additional compute capacity, in that case you can bid your price, right? And if your price is higher than other bidders, then AWS will allocate this resource to you, right? Until and unless someone else bids higher price than you. Okay, next option, again, it's called network. So you have to select VPC. At least one VPC you have to select over, not one, by default VPC you have to select here, or if you want your own VPC, you just click if you have created, and then you will find it over here. But yes, your EC2 instance must be in VPC, right? Subnet, so again, there are list of subnetworks you will find in a VPC. So range of IP addresses in your VPC that can be used to isolate a different EC2 resources from each other. So there are VPC is a one kind of virtual network, what we can say, right? And that network is subdivided in a different part, so you can categorize your resources and you can put it in a different part. So subnet is like that. So we have a 6 different subnet. You want to select it according to your architecture or configuration, you can. Otherwise, if you will not give any preferences, it will take it by default. Okay, auto assign IP address, right? So if you enable it, then it will, AWS will allocate the IP address, right? Placement group, where you want to place your this computing specific server with some specific group, then you can choose this. Actually, this is the advanced part, right? So a few options are advanced, which I'm not going to cover right now, right? So just take it as it is. You don't need to modify it, right? Capacity reservation is not required. Domain join directory is not required. Yes, IAM rule, it is also not required, but you have to understand that, because IAM is identity access management, right? And IAM role, you have to select where you want to allow that your server allow to communicate with any service of AWS Cloud Platform without any credential or permission. In that case, you have to assign that role here. Okay, I will explain this part in detail so you will have more idea. So you have to create role. The option is also provided here. CPU option, you don't need to configure right now. Shutdown behavior. So shutdown behavior, you have to specify the instance behavior when OS level shutdown is performed, right? So if you select stop, if someone shut down it, your machine will not completely terminated. It will be on a stop state, right? But if you select terminate, then it will directly terminate it. Okay. Stop hibernate. So hibernation, stop your instance and save the content, right? So of the instance RAM to your root volume, so it will not affect, right? So it depend on your requirement. Enable termination protection, this is very good option. If someone want to intentionally or accidentally shut down your machine, it will not if you enable this option, right? So if you enable this, no one terminate your instance intentionally as well as accidentally. Why? Right? Here they mention accidentally, but sometime if you are having the list of servers in a specific region, and if someone like select unintentionally the another instance that is your, and they try to terminate the having one pop-up notification, you are not allowed to delete. You will see it, right? So here, that's why I'm going to enable this. If you want to monitor your certain resources or configuration of server, you have to select this, right? It will have additional charges, right? Tenancy, so you want to run your server on a specific uh, hardware, or you want to run your instance or your server on a uh, some other hardware, those who are on it by someone else, right? So tenancy you have to select, by default is a set, right? So these all are advanced option, we don't require it right now. Yes, user script, this is in advanced detail. So wherever you want to by default, you want to add like server, Apache server, Tomcat, or you want to by default add index.html file, then you have to write the user script over here, user data, right? And that is size is having around 16 KB, right? So you can write, right? So it will add or install, right, these dependencies at the time of launching the event, right? So yes, user data according to your requirement you have to add. I will show you the demo in our next upcoming video where you want to launch your website, right? In that case, you can use this user script as well, right? Click on add storage. So here you can see this is the storage part where you have to select the storage capacity, right? So every computer, as we know, that have a C drive, same like there is a root volume here, right, which is by default having the 8 GB storage, right? And that is the general category, general purpose SSD, right? And this is the IOPS. IOPS is nothing but input output per second, so 100 to 3000. So baseline 3 IOPS per GB with minimum of 100 IOPS, and burstable up to 3000 IOPS, right? So maximum capacity, right? We can say. Yes, delete on termination if you want to delete, right? So you have to select it. Otherwise, when you delete your server, right, your root volume is also available, right? So here you can see EBS volume persists independently from the running life of EC2 instance. So however, you can choose automatically delete EBS volume when associated instance will terminate, right? Okay, now encryption. So by default, there is a no encryption, but if you want to encrypt your root volume, you can, right? So there is one option by default key is available, and if you want to create your own key, you can do that. Okay. Additional volume also you can add, that's called elastic block storage. There are two type of storage available on AWS. There is a block storage and object storage. So this is the elastic block storage, somewhat like our portable hard disk, right, which you are attached with your as additional storage. So if you want to attach, you have to add it here. You can assign the size, you can select the different type of volume. Generally SSD volumes are there, but apart from that AWS also provide HDD magnetic uh, hard disk option as well, right? Okay, so I don't require this. I'm not select this. So click on next, add tag. So same like your social media tag, you can tag your resources. So for example, uh, there is a MNC and they are looking for all the resources from specific region or specific area or specific location. So every time they inform their employees and all the cloud engineers who are frequently using this platform and resources, they are informed by the manager to assign a tag, so they can easily find out the list of resources, right? So web server, you can assign more than one tag. You can say location is like India, right? Click on next. This is the important part, security configuration. So security configuration, or you can say security group, is a set of firewall rules through which you can allow the specific traffic who is going to access your server, right? Here you cannot deny, you can only allow the traffic. Remember this point, you will be asked in an exam. Security group is not for block the traffic, it will only allow the specific list of traffic, right? And those traffic you want to allow, you have to add it from here. See, this is the add rule, right? So again, before that, you have a two option. You can select your existing web server or security group, right? Or if you want to create your own for your specific server, then you can create it, web server web sg1, right? The same you can copy paste in a security part. Okay, this is Linux AMI. So by default SSH is there, so SSH port is enabled, right? Yes, again you can configure to allow traffic in a three different way, right? Here you can see custom. It means if you want to allow only specific IP address, you can type it here, right? Or if you want to allow everybody, you can select anywhere. Or if you want to allow my IP, it means this computer only access this server, you just select it. No one else will touch your server, right? Okay, clear? So I am going to select only anywhere. Okay, click on review and launch. When you click on launch, you have this pop-up. It is again one layer of security, we can say. The key pair consists of public key and private key. So public key that AWS stores and private key that you store. So whenever you want to access your server, you have to use this private key to access your server, right? So here you have again two options. You can create or you can use your existing one, right? So I'm going to create new one, web server 2, right? Or you can say my web server, or my web server, right? You have to click over here, download key pair, right? Then and then launch option will enable. So click on that. See, see this .pem file is downloaded, right? Now you just click on launch instance. Okay, now let's see the view instance status. So here you can see our server is in a pending state. Sorry, actually there are two web server. Let me change the name, my web server, right? Okay, so here you can see this is in a running state now. You just check the two status. It's system status check and instance status check is now clear. So it will check. See, once you click over here, you have a two, here you can see 1 cross 1, right? So same way you have a 2 cross 2. One it's for system status check, right? Another for instance status check, right? System status check, it means they will check on a data center side, right? And instance status check, it means over here, right? Okay, now here you will have, once you select your server, you have a list of configuration information here, right? So here you can see details where you will find the instance ID, public IP address, private IP address, and public DNS, right? You will find all the information, right? You just see Linux AMI, Amazon Linux, AMI ID, right? Termination protection is enabled, right? Everything you will find, okay? Right? Security, so security group we had perform, right? So you just see you can modify as well. Yes, you can change it, right? So networking, again we select enable public IP address assignment. So here you will find the public IP address, private IP address, as well as public DNS address, okay? Storage, so we had select normal root volume itself only. Yes, monitoring is also a good option, right, to monitor your server. So by default, monitor is a one kind of service which will give you the status of your resources in a server, like RAM, CPU, then disk, right? Same like your task manager showing the same thing, you will find it over here, right? So CPU utilization, these all are the default metrics, right? If you want to change, you can custom click on custom and you will change it as well, okay? By default, every 5 minutes you will find your statistic over here, that is completely free. But if you want to reduce it, right, you can reduce the monitoring timestamp, okay? Now let's use this IP address, copy the IP address, and you just paste it here, right? It won't allow you. Why? Because we didn't install anything on a server. Okay, now let's access this server. There are multiple way you can access this. One of the way you can use the recent feature they have added, it's called Cloud Cell, right? So you just see on a just next option to the search bar on a top side of this AWS platform or console. Just before to the warning bell icon, there is a cloud cell. Otherwise, you just type cloud cell in a search bar, right? So you will also find this option. Just click on that, right? Okay, now server is launched. Now let's access that server. There are multiple way through which you can access your server Linux SSH Linux server. First option, you can download the Putty terminal, right, or Putty, through which you can access the terminal of Linux server. Or you have another option which is provided on a AWS platform itself. It's called Cloud Cell, right? And this option is recently added. You just find this icon next to the search bar option. There is a one triangle arrow. You just scroll down your cursor over there, you will find Cloud Cell just before to the warning bell icon, right? Otherwise you will not find, just type Cloud Cell, right, and you will find it, okay? Another way, you just open your terminal, Putty Gen, you can download it. I'm going to provide the URL of the Putty from where you can download it, right? So here you can see this is the Putty terminal, right, where we have to insert the IP address, right? But Putty only accept key in terms of .ppk extension. So before that, we have to convert this PEM file, right? We private key, that private key which is downloaded in a .pem extension, we have to convert it into the .ppk file. So before the convert it, let's open the puttygen. So type puttygen, I have already installed. So just click on that, right? We have to upload this file over here, right? So I'm going to upload, right? Load file, just go to the download, right? Here you have to select all file, then and then you will file it, otherwise not, right? So you just see this is your key. Now save as a private key, click on save as a private key, right? So are you sure you want to save this key without perhaps protect it? Yes. Okay, and just type name my web server, right? Click on OK. So now it is converted into .ppk extension. Okay, now let's access this. So copy the public IP address. Now open Putty terminal, Putty configuration. Earlier we used that Putty gen, which help you to convert your .pem file to .ppk. Right. So here you have to add the credential, or we can say the config server IP address. Right. This is the port. Have you remember we opened this port in a security group, right? And then on a left hand side there is one icon option, it's called SSH. So click on this plus sign and there is one option, it's called auth, right? So here we have to upload that key, right? So here you will find my web server, right? And now click on open and you will have your terminal. See, right? So you can log in as a EC2 hyphen user. If you have a Ubuntu server, right, you have to type login as Ubuntu, right? You will click, then you will be in your server, right? So here you can see this is the IP address 172.31.31.119. Same IP address you can find over here. See public IP address, private IP address. Okay. Now let's add few things inside, right? So the first, let's check, let's update it. Sudo yum, sudo yum update as well, right? Is it clear? So using these you can access your server. Now you can install the web server, you can add index.html file, and you can access it through web browser, right? So here I'm going to show you how to install web server. So yum install httpd, right? Okay, we require super user permission, so sudo su, right? Now yum install pd, yes. So now let's go inside. There is a specific directory where you will find it, right? And here you can add your HTML file, or you can say index.html file. So here I prepared one simple file code. You have to, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to open this terminal, again open the Putty terminal. I'm going to type, you have to open any type of editor which you are comfortable. Here I'm going to open with nano, or let's edit gedit is allowed or not. Index.html, no, it's not allowed. So nano index.html, right? So here I'm going to add this file, control X, press yes, click enter, your file is ready, right? Now you type your IP address, you will find this web page on with the help of your IP address, right? So let's try it. So copy your IP address and paste it on a browser. You just see that you will not find anything. Why? Because as I told you, we only enable SSH port in a security group, right? Let's add or modify the security group. Go inside the security section, right? Here you can see this is the port, right? So let's edit this, right? So what you can do here, on a left hand side there are list of option, right? And here you can see security group, right? And this is our security group, web sg1, right? In a web sg1 we have to change the inbound rule. There are inbound, it means from internet to your server, and outbound, it means from your server to internet or user, right? So by default, outbound is all allowed, inbound is all denied, right? So here you can see when we launch our server, only SSH port is there. Now here I'm going to edit, click add rule, go to the HTTP, right? Click on anywhere, save. Now let's try with the same way, copy IP address, right? It again not allow us. Why? Because we have to check whether our HTTP server is enabled or not. Let me open that file. Okay, so we have to check whether our HTTPD service is on or not. So let's type service HTTPD start. Just click on that. Now let's check the same thing again. Go back to your EC2 dashboard, right? Copy your IP address and let's paste here and try. Yes, hello guys, welcome to the first step toward the AWS cloud, right? So here you can see we have successfully launched our EC2 instance with Linux operating system, right? So same way, right, you can launch server, you can deploy your site, or you can manually install it, right? And you can access your server. Okay, now one more thing, let's check the let's terminate this instance. So here you can see in a instance state, right, you can stop, then it will change from running state to stop. Let's terminate it, right? So here I'm click on terminate, and you can see fail to terminate the instance. Why? Have you remember we enable termination protection on, right? So that's why they won't allow you to terminate. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to go inside the extend part, right? You have to go inside the specific section from here, instance setting, change termination protection. You have to uncheck this, you have to save this again, and now you can try. Now you can try. Now your server will successfully terminate without any notification. You can see successfully terminated, right? Okay, so this is the advantage when you enable the termination protection on. It will not allow anybody or someone accidentally try to terminate your instance. They will not allow, they will have this kind of pop-up with not alert message, right? So this is the main advantage of termination protection enable. Okay, so student, if you have any doubt, feel free to comment on the below the comment portion, right? And I will in the next in my next video, right, I'm going to show you how to launch Windows Server, right? Okay, then I will show you how to deploy the application. Okay, so keep watching my tutorial channel, right? I will give you the maximum troubleshooting part, and I will explain the more detail on each and every single parameter, so it will help you to crack your first level of certification called Cloud Practitioner.